This one has my blood boiling. What happened to this baby shouldn't happen to anyone. So last Wednesday morning, which would have been March 6th, CACD, which is the Crimes Against Children Division of the Arkansas State Police, contacted the Conway Police Department about a 1-year-old boy. Now, CACD, which I think mans the child abuse hotline, received a call about a 1-year-old who got dropped off at daycare by his mother's boyfriend with his eyes swollen shut. Now, they didn't realize that his eyes were swollen shut when he was first dropped off because the boyfriend, whose name is Matthew Bradley, told them that the little boy was pretending to be asleep. But they noticed that the little boy had a dirty diaper, so they picked him up, to change his diaper. And at that point, they noticed that he wasn't pretending to be asleep. His eyes were swollen shut, and he also had other injuries in his facial area. They called the little boy's mother and told her, like, he can't be at daycare in this condition. He's going to have to go see a doctor and be cleared in order to come to daycare. But when they were thinking about it, they realized that the little boy actually had a small injury to his lip the day before on Tuesday, but he didn't have any other injuries. And honestly, kids get injured all the time. I mean, if I had $1 for every little injury or bruise or whatever that my kids had because they were so active, right? But that in connection with everything else that was going on, they were, that was probably a sign. The little boy was picked up on Tuesday by the mom's boyfriend and then turned around and dropped off on Wednesday by the mom's boyfriend. Now, a little bit to my dismay, because they had called the mom and told the mom, like, you're going to have to come pick him up. By the time Conway police got the information about the phone call, they had to go out and locate the kid because the child had already been picked up from daycare. Now, they were able to quickly locate the child at a doctor's office. So he had been taken to the doctor at that point, which was, better than nothing, I guess. But the kid was taken to the doctor by, you guessed it, the mom's boyfriend. The mom had to be called to come to the doctor's office in order for her to talk to police because she wasn't there. And I don't know, maybe she was working, but guys, I mean, so the mom got to the doctor's office and she was speaking with police and she was super defensive of her boyfriend. She said that she believed that the injuries came from the daycare because her boyfriend was watching the baby while she was working late on Tuesday evening and sent her photos of her little boy with these injuries. Police told her, like, we believe that he's the one that injured the little boy and we think that this is how he did it. And she was like, there's no way. There's no way that he could do something so awful. And they police even told her, like, we think that he had been spanked with a belt. And she was like, there's no way. We don't even punish him with a belt. So, mom told police that she had video footage in her house, and if her boyfriend had been abusing her son, she would know it because she has a video feed. She pulled up the videos and started watching video footage right there in front of the police. And on video footage, she watched her little boy walk into the house just fine on Tuesday afternoon. But then she watched a video that her boyfriend had sent her Tuesday evening showing her little boy falling asleep standing up. Like, obviously, there was something wrong with him at that point. According to the affidavit, mom didn't say what it was, but she saw something on the cameras that shut her up, where she wasn't defending her boyfriend anymore. She did say she saw him with a belt raised, but she really didn't say anything about anything else. She just kind of stopped communicating with police at that point, which makes you wonder, what is it that she saw where she knew right away who had hurt her baby? Mom then started showing police photos that were from January, where she said that her son got injured at school at that point. At that time, he had an injury to his nose, swelling to his right cheek, and an injury to both nipples, which is like so strange. But she thought that those injuries happened at school. Police contacted the school, and the school said he came back to school with those injuries after we were closed for snow. Arkansas Children's Hospital was consulted about the injuries that the little boy had this time and last time and believed that they were all consistent injuries with child abuse. Now, the doctor at Children's Hospital did believe this time that the injuries to the little boy's eyes were caused from either a chemical or a thermal burn, like something being put into the child's eyes to cause his eyes to swell shut. The little boy also had an injury to the back of his head, but no one knows how that injury actually happened. And the only person that knows, obviously, is the boyfriend, and he's not going to tell right now. So, according to police, when they were observing the little boy, he was lethargic. He couldn't open his eyes due to the swelling. He had injuries to his nose and mouth. He had blood in his ears. Uh, Medical personnel took off all of his clothing to examine him, and he was breathing, but he would only respond with whimpers and cries when he was being moved. He uh, calmed down when he was held to the nurse's chest. He seemed content, but also acted like he was kind of asleep. He would go back to being lethargic very quickly. He had what is being described as pattern bruising, which looked to be the metal end of a belt on one side. On the other side, he had what looked like the tail end of a belt that hit him with enough force to leave an injury. He had bruising on his back. He had a large knot on the back of his head and the base of his skull. He was transported to Arkansas Children's Hospital by ambulance. Police also watched like a lot of videos and were able to recap those videos. So at 3:48 p.m., they were able to see the baby and the boyfriend coming home, and the baby appeared to be normal. At 5:17, the boyfriend sets the little boy in front of the TV, and then he quickly grabs him, moves him where he can't be seen by the camera. And police say that they hear the boyfriend say to the baby, "Shut the F up." About an hour later, at 6:13, the boyfriend walks in front of the camera, seeming to pace with his phone in his hand. At 15 minutes later, at 6:30, the boyfriend has a towel in his hand and walks to the door, looks out the peephole. In the background, you can hear what sounds like the little boy crying or whimpering in another room. At 15 minutes later than that, at 6:46 p.m., you can hear the boyfriend with a belt doubled over in his right hand with a belt being held above his shoulder as if he is ready to strike. And the little boy is standing in front of the TV and whimpering. The boyfriend then moves him out of camera view. It says, due to this repeatedly happening, I believe he knows when the camera triggers and moves him off camera, so it will go off. At 7:04, Matthew Bradley stands the little boy in front of the TV and tells him to stand up and watch TV, but it's like a basketball game on TV. At 7:38, the little boy is standing in front of the TV where his toys are located, and Matthew Bradley grabs him by the shoulders, picks him up, and moves him out of camera view. At 6:48 a.m., Matthew Bradley leaves the house with the boy to take him to school. At 7:22, Matthew Bradley returns back to the house alone. At 9:22, he leaves the house alone. And at 10:05, Matthew Bradley, the baby, and the mom return home. At 10:17, Matthew Bradley is talking to the girlfriend, the mom, saying that he asked the teacher what was wrong with him, and he said that the little boy had his eyes open and that the worker said she didn't know. 1 minute later, at 10:18, Matthew Bradley is talking to the mom and he sounds angry and says, "But I guarantee when we go up to the effing doctor, they are going to tell your effing ass that he isn't GD sick." And mom says, like, "I know he's not sick, but I think he has allergies and allergies hurt because I have allergies." So Matthew Bradley is just like mocking mom. And then at 10:30, he starts talking and cussing about the little boy not having balance. And then at 10:31, Matthew Bradley says, "I'll stop that GD car, open the car, and I will yank him out and I will beat the F out of that kid. I ain't trying to say nothing bad. He's got a whole drink like this, a whole drink. You know how old he is, and he's capable of setting it down and stuff right." So anyway, I said all that to say Matthew Bradley is currently in the Faulkner County Detention Center. He has been charged with second-degree battery, and it's not enough if you ask me, but I'm glad he's still sitting there.